Could I get a different cup? This one has lipstick on it. What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is the second time I'm recording this. I was recording it outside and then I was editing it and I was like, wow, all I can hear are birds and my voice, but mostly birds and the wind. So I decided I'm gonna do this while he's showering. So here we are. I have a story I want to tell you guys because Johnny, his mom, and I went out to eat yesterday at a Mexican restaurant. It's a brand new restaurant and she had heard really good things about it from a couple friends of hers. And so we wanted to try it. So this was kind of going to be our Mother's Day thing. I can't go and see my mom, sadly. She's in Hawaii and I just can't be with her today, which is sad, but you know, it is what it is. This place is super close to where I live. And obviously I'm not going to say the name because I don't want you to know where I live, but it's a Mexican place and it's very new, but they have other locations that I've never been to. And online they only had 7 reviews and they were all good reviews, but they were one was from like 3 years ago and then the newest one was like 3 months ago. So there's no reviews of the place that is currently here. And I cannot find it on Google, only on Facebook. Very weird. We walked over there. Oh, disclaimer, want to say really fast. I live in Texas. I know obviously with what's going on in the world, people are going to be like, how did you go out to eat? So I'm in Texas. Our stay-at-home order was like somewhat lifted. And I believe, I don't know if it's 25% right now or 50% that's allowed in the restaurants. I think it's still 25% of capacity that's allowed. So you can go out to eat. This is the first time we've gone out to eat. We weren't near anyone other than the waiter. So I'm just telling you that because we're allowed to. It's not like, you know, okay, whatever. So we get there. First thing, this isn't a big deal. By the way, this video is going to be for entertainment purposes only. Okay, I'm not trying to bash this place, but I do think a lot of the things that happened were kind of strange and like a little gross. So you'll see. I'm not trying to do anything mean. I'm just trying to give you entertainment and tell you a story of what happened yesterday. Now that that's out of the way, I will get started. So we get there. It's cash only. Johnny forgot to bring cash, so he had to run to the bank real fast. We waited there, and inside it was so hot in there. The kitchen was like to the left when you walked in, and the heat was just like flowing on the tables. It was insane. So we asked if we could sit outside. Thankfully, they said yes, and that was good. If you live in Texas, you know that it's already getting pretty hot here. So it was pretty warm, but it started to get a little cool. So it was pretty nice outside. We get seated, and the first weird thing that happened, which huge red flag, we should have definitely left at this point because it was just gross. He takes our orders for the drinks, and I just get water and a pina colada. Johnny gets a Coke and his mom gets a water. So he comes with the drinks. It doesn't have my pina colada yet, which is whatever. And he's setting down the drinks, and before he can even set down Johnny's mom's drink, like literally it's like almost, this is the table and it's like this close, and she looked at it and she saw a big freaking lipstick mark on this cup, and she's like, could I get a different cup? This one has lipstick on it. And he's like,
oh, yes, I'm so sorry about that. Oh my gosh, we clean all of our dishes with the hottest water. I don't know how that happened.
And we're like, oh, okay, totally. Yeah, I don't know if they just accidentally grabbed a dirty cup or what, but I don't know how you do that. So, interesting. And that should have been a sign that this is probably not going to be the best place to eat at. I mean, honestly, I don't know why the hell we stayed. I shouldn't have. If that ever happens again, I'm leaving because that's just a sign that it's probably going to go just downhill from there. He brings her a new drink. We get straws. Thank God I'm not putting my mouth on that crap. My pina colada, I didn't get an update on it for a while. I eventually asked, and he's like, oh yeah, I just talked to the bartender. They're still making. I'm like, okay. I mean, I just wanted to know because I thought he might have forgotten. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And so eventually my pina colada comes. And this is just a personal opinion. This isn't like, I'm not trying to say this is the restaurant's fault, but I love pina coladas. I like virgin pina coladas and I like the alcoholic ones. So this one was an alcoholic one. It straight up tasted just like oranges to me. I hate oranges, and I've never had a pina colada that tasted the way this one did. It didn't really taste like pineapple at all. No coconut, whatever else is in it. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really know. But it just tasted like oranges, and I don't know why. It also had that, had like this, I think it was an orange sugar, like orange, I don't know. The little crystals on the thing were orange. It was very weird. I don't know. So I only took 3 sips of that, and I just couldn't drink it. Like I I couldn't force myself to drink it because it was just, I just couldn't. And then we ended up looking at the menu. It was $9. I was really mad at myself for not even looking because I would not have gotten that if I knew it was that expensive. But I had very high hopes for it, okay? So that happened. Usually at Mexican restaurants, you get chips and salsa, right? Am I right? Just comes with it, usually. Well, we didn't see any. He didn't offer any. So my boyfriend asked and said,
Oh, well, we do have those, but it's an extra charge because it's not just out of the can. We make it fresh.
and I was like, what? I mean, I don't know. I've never actually worked at a restaurant, so I don't know if they just get their salsa from like Walmart or something, but I've never heard a waiter say that before, and we're like, okay. And I did not know my boyfriend ended up buying them, and I think it was like $4 or $5, and then the guy comes over with these chips and salsas. Sorry, this is before we order our food. And I was confused, and I was like, why is he bringing over? He's like, oh, I ordered. I'm like, what? Why do you order that? So the salsa, first of all, was not cold, and it looked like bean dip almost, but it was not a bean dip. It was salsa, and it was the weirdest salsa I've ever had in my life. I don't know, you guys. It was actually really not good at all, and it was warm. Like, it was warmer than just room temperature, if that makes sense. Like, it was not cold. The chips were good, though. We had, like, red and yellow chips, like normal tortilla chips, and those were good, but that salsa was not good. Then we have those chips, and he comes back, and he starts to take our order. So both of them got the same thing. They just wanted cheese enchiladas, and it came with rice and beans. So they took their order. He didn't really have an issue with their order. It was just easy. Cheese enchiladas, rice and beans. Which I figured mine would be easy too because it's just cheese quesadillas with rice and beans, you know, just a different word. What was strange is before he took my order, he started calling them gringos, and he wasn't trying to be rude by it, but just because our order was basic, which I just thought was kind of strange, but I was like, okay. So then he gets to me, and I say, can I just get cheese quesadillas with rice and beans? And he's like,
just cheese on it?
and I said, yes. And then he's writing that down, and then he said, okay, cheese quesadillas. And I said, and then can I get a side of rice and beans? It's like, oh, okay. So he reads back the thing, and he says,
Okay, so, you want enchiladas, cheese enchiladas, rice and beans. You want enchilada, cheese, rice and beans, and you want enchilada with cheese, rice and beans.
I said, no, I want quesadilla with rice and beans. Like,
Oh, okay. Just cheese?
and I'm like, yes, I just want cheese quesadillas with rice and beans. That's all I want. Like, nothing else on it, just cheese. And he's like,
Oh, okay, I got it.
this maybe was like a 2-minute ordeal with just my order. It was so weird. Usually, you know, you just order, it takes like, what, 30 seconds if that, if it's not complicated, I don't even know. And so finally, he gets it correct, I guess, and walks away. And we're all just looking at each other like, this is weird. And that's when they started acting like, is he drinking or something? Because it's like he wasn't able to remember anything almost, and he was just like, you would have had to be there. I wish I had some of this on recording. It would just make so much more sense if you could see what was happening in the moment. So then the food comes, and this other guy brings out 2 plates. One has my quesadillas, and one has my boyfriend's enchiladas, and then just walks away. There's nothing for his mom. Like, she's just sitting there kind of like, where's my food? And we were thinking, oh, you know, maybe he can't carry it all, you know. About 4 minutes go by maybe, and finally our waiter comes back, and he's like,
Is your food not here?
and she's like, no, it's not here. And yeah. And she's like,
I am so sorry.
so he goes back to the kitchen. Probably about 5 minutes later, her plate comes out with enchiladas, and I'm like, oh my God. So I don't know if they just forgot or what. I mean, I really don't understand what was going on, you guys. It was strange. But before her food came, we were trying our food. My boyfriend did not like his enchiladas at all. I tried it too, and it was almost like, I don't know, like it was almost like a pizza sauce on top of it. It was so strange. Like, it looked like pizza sauce. It just didn't taste right. It had this really, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not a huge fan of enchiladas. My grandma's are really good, but I'm just not a huge fan of enchiladas. And my boyfriend was saying how he felt like he was eating a TV dinner. And I used to buy these cheese enchiladas TV dinners, and they were better than this. I swear to God. Like, I used to eat them more than I do now. I'm just not a huge fan anymore, but they were better than this. So she gets her food, and she starts trying it, and she's like, first thing she said is, yeah, it's different. It's different. But she wanted to eat it. She felt bad. And she said the more she ate it, the more bearable it was. Like, it wasn't horrible, but she didn't like it by any means. She was just eating it. They also had refried beans. All of us had refried beans and rice. And so my quesadilla just came with 2 little triangles Like they weren't very big, you know what I mean? It was a very small portion size, but in the end I'm glad because I barely ate any of it anyways. So usually what I do with my food is I take my quesadilla and sometimes I'll open it up and like put rice and beans in it, but this time I was just dipping the beans and then kind of dipping the rice and just eating it. I am not kidding. Those beans were the worst beans I've ever had. I would rather have a can of refried beans. And I don't even like cans of refried beans at all. But it just had, I just don't even know. It was like missing something, but it was like, it just almost like it was old. I don't know how to describe that either. The rice was okay. It wasn't anything amazing, like not even close, but the rice was okay. The beans were not good at all. It was only half filled too, the little container. This little tiny bowl, and it was only half full, but I didn't even eat half of that. One good thing though was the quesadilla. It was actually good. So I was eating the first one. I ate all of it. I was like, okay, this is good. It's good. And I also got a little side of queso with it. I didn't ask for it. It just came with it. So I started using that to eat the chips instead of the salsa, and it was actually good. So I was like, okay, cool. Still was kind of sad the beans and the rice weren't very good. And then I finished that quesadilla and moved on to my last one, the second one. I only had 2 little ones. And it looked like there was chicken in it, or like it was brown. It was really weird. He finally comes back and I say something about that. I'm like, I asked for just cheese, but I'm pretty sure there's like chicken in this or something. This is where it gets really freaking weird to me. So I had ripped off the piece where there would just look like a bunch of chicken in it and was just on my plate. He picks up my boyfriend's napkin that he had been using, still using. Didn't even ask, can I use this napkin for a second? Or just to use it? He picked it up, picked the piece of quesadilla off of my plate. Okay? Off of my plate that still has food on it. Never said I was like done eating, even though I was at this point. Just didn't even realize it yet. Picked it up off of my plate, goes to the kitchen. Just doesn't even really say much of anything. Because I had said, could I maybe just get like another triangle of quesadilla? Like maybe just, you know, like just cheese. He's gone for maybe like 2 minutes. I see him walk back, holding the napkin with the piece of the quesadilla. And he comes over to me and it's like, almost like he's examining it in front of me. It is the weirdest thing. And he's like,
So he just spoke to the kitchen staff, and they said that's actually burnt cheese because when it's cooked, the cheese burns, and so inside of it, that's the burnt cheese.
I was just so confused. I was just staring straight ahead. He's like right next to me too, like not keeping space at all. And I'm like, well, the first one I had didn't have this at all in it, and this one has it like throughout the whole thing, so it's just, I'm just not gonna eat it. And he's like, okay. And he just walks away. I'm like, I don't want that piece. Like, I didn't know if he was trying to give me the piece in his hand or what, but I'm like, I don't want that. That's, you know, that's kind of gross. After that, I was very irritated. I'm like, I'm just not gonna eat it. Didn't offer to just bring me a new one that doesn't have burned cheese. What confuses me is, how was the cheese inside of it burned when the outside of it was not even burned at all? Like, the tortilla itself was not burned. The other quesadilla was nothing like that. I just don't understand how that was burned cheese. I'm convinced it was chicken. Like, I'm so convinced it was chicken. It just is irritating to me still to this moment. And I know this is not a huge deal. It was just irritating in the moment because we're spending money here. We're, you know, we're trying to, with everything going on, things are, you know, it's a little expensive too, pricey. My God. My quesadillas was like $14 and their enchiladas were cheaper than my food. It was so weird. And the $9 drink. We don't eat any more of it. And we were all kind of talking about how it just felt like we were eating prison food. I'm not kidding you guys. It actually felt like I was in prison. I mean, it would probably be a good meal in prison, you know, but I'm not in prison. So what, I don't know. Like, it was so weird. He eventually brings the bill and he said, I took off the pina colada. I hope I mentioned that I had him send it back. And so he hadn't said anything at that moment. I was like, yeah, I just don't want it. He's like, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, I just don't like it. Like, I just didn't like it. That was all it was. It just wasn't, it's like, I like pina coladas, but I didn't like that one. So they took that off. Thank God. I'm so thankful. None of us really ate much of our food. It was a big letdown, to be honest with you guys. I'm actually going to go to a food truck, this Mexican food truck, the only Mexican place I really actually really love here. It's really good and it's way cheaper too. And it has really good portion sizes. Like, it's actually really good. And it's a food truck. And I'm going to go there today because I need to make up for it. Also, both of them said they did not have any stomach problems after this, but literally immediately, I don't know if it was because of the dirty dish that I saw, and so I just kind of felt gross because if that was dirty, was my plate dirty? Like, Was my dish dirty? It just didn't have lipstick, you know what I'm saying? I just felt sick. Like, I just felt nauseous after this. Like, even thinking about it now, like, I still kind of feel gross. We're never gonna go back there again. That was really all that had happened. But to me, it was enough to not go. Usually, if a customer says something like, you know, I don't, like, this isn't what I ordered, or like, what is this in my food? Usually they would, you know, I don't know, make it right, bring me a different one, especially when we already had an issue with the dirty glass, didn't offer anything, didn't offer for the chips to be free, didn't offer anything other than the drink to be taken off, because I didn't drink it, because it was horrible. Let me know if you guys have ever had anything similar like this happen to you, or just if you've had a bad restaurant experience in general. I would like to know. It's just entertainment purposes only. So I hope you enjoyed. Please give this a thumbs up if you, I don't know, if you even experienced something like this yourself, or if you just enjoyed it, or if you just want to give it a thumbs up. That'd be nice. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're gaining subscribers. I'm so happy. Thank you so much if you're here. I really do appreciate you. That's all I have to say about this experience. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Don't drink on the job. It just seemed so obvious that he was drinking. That was, like, he just seemed flustered. But, like, the way he was walking even, and, like, standing, I saw him standing at a different table, and he had this body, like, it was just, you had to be there. Like, you had to have been there. It would make so much more sense. Prison food was good. Yeah. Just kidding, it wasn't. I will see you guys later. Bye.